Minutes after Alex Merrick was woken by his pager, the deputy captain of Branxton Fire and Rescue was inside the station shortly to set off on the biggest job of his career. Not that he knew it.
We got dressed, ready to get on the truck, left the station, attending towards the incident. When we arrived on scene, we had a 60-seater bus that was on its side. We were quickly confronted with multiple patients that were climbing out of the front window of the bus. They were being assisted by, obviously, passengers as well as the police.
One of the surviving passengers was trapped beneath the bus.
We made a decision to use our high-pressure airbags. We lifted the bus up approximately 10 inches and stabilised the bus on either end to allow safe access to it. We extricated the patient with assistance from ambulance service, carried him out the back of the bus, back into a triage area that was being set up.
I mean, the sheer size of it for these guys to walk into is not what we're used to. You can see 1,000 car crashes and it's not going to prepare you for that.
One of the first ambulance officers on the scene radioed in, alerting emergency services to the scale of this disaster.
Major incident declared. We have a bus rollover, multiple patients. I need all resources allocated to continue. I'm still trying to work out exactly how many patients I have here.
Ambulance Commander Luke Wiseman arrived 40 minutes into the incident.
Once we received those calls, responded, our crews, which was essentially 7 minutes until they were on scene, which is an exceptional response. Look, it was a really difficult and challenging scene, really confronting scene, and it's just about getting the appropriate resources.
The bus was carrying 35 guests from a wedding at Wandon Estate Winery in the Hunter Valley.
About 11:30 p.m. on Sunday night, a 58-year-old male bus driver drove a passenger bus in a southerly direction on Wine Country Drive. As he entered the roundabout to turn west onto the Hunter Expressway, he lost control of that vehicle and it fell over onto its left side onto a guardrail. As a result of that motor vehicle accident, 10 people are deceased.
New South Wales Police Superintendent David Waddell alleged the driver, 58-year-old Brett Button, was driving unsafely.
Obviously, the speed was too quick for him to negotiate that roundabout, causing the vehicle to fall onto its left side and cause those injuries.
We've trained so many times with like a bus crash scenario, never ever want to see one. So to actually be confronted with a bus that had so many people in it was, yeah.
The next morning, another fire and rescue crew from Branxton was on scene.
We assisted the police and the forensics team in removing the last of the people from the site. 9 people. So our rescue crew, myself and one other, we went in and worked closely just with the police rescue team to lift that bus to remove the last people. A lot of thought went into how we were going to do this to maintain the dignity of these people and successfully do what the forensics team needed to be done.
In Singleton and surrounding towns across the Hunter Valley, people tried to work out who was alive and who was unaccounted for.
We're in the process of some of what you've seen with us on our phones this morning was working out how we can pull together some centre for people to actually talk and share and recover from this. Not so much the initial families involved, but the wider community that will be grieving and in shock as well. It's shocking and horrible tragedy, and particularly after such a joyful day that they'd had for a wedding. We've just got to put one foot in front of another and get through this.
There is now some clarity on the lives lost. They include physiotherapist Andrew Scott and wife Lynn, who worked for coal mining company Yancoal. They leave behind 2 young children. The coach of the Singleton women's AFL team, Nadine McBride, and her daughter, Kaya. Rebecca Mullen, a junior doctor at Calvary Mater Hospital in Newcastle. Kane Simons, a member of Tasmania's Carlton Park Surf Lifesaving Club, living in Singleton. And Tori Cowburn, Zach Bray, Angus Craig and Darcy Bullman. The driver, Brett Button, charged with 10 counts of dangerous driving causing death and 1 count of negligent driving, has been released on bail.
Oh, look, I've spoke with my client. He's happy to be going home. That's all I've got to say.
How's he doing?
He's doing okay in all of the circumstances.
So he's well aware of the ramifications, what's happening?
Look, I've got nothing further to say.
As the impact of this terrible bus crash is felt across Australia, the firefighters of Branxton must deal with all they saw too.
Over the last 2 days,
Has much of what you saw stayed with you?
Every bit of it, every bit, yep. Yeah, I think it'll be a long time before I stop seeing that.